Oh, yeah, it's your boy Live Wire, and I'm back in the motherfucking building, baby. So what's going on, people? It's what's today? Thursday? Yes. Ah, good day. Tomorrow I'm getting actually no, midnight. I'm getting my Halo Wars 2 on. That'll be nice. Play that for a few hours before I go to sleep. I fucking can't wait. I can't wait. I played the shit out of Halo Wars 1 for the last 2 weeks. Beat that shit on Tuesday. Yeah, I think I beat it on Tuesday. So yeah, man, good shit, good shit. But I wanted to talk today because obviously I've always active person on Twitter, and being on Twitter, you run into interesting individuals, and I'll go into some interesting tweets in response to, and respond to those tweets in a second. But right now, I just wanted to talk about just in general, people saying, mainly PlayStation guys, saying that Scorpio has no games. I don't. I mean, I understand they feel that because PlayStation has exclusives currently. I guess we're not going to count the PS4 games coming to PlayStation now that will be available on Windows PCs, and pretty much anybody who has good internet and great bandwidth will be able to play those games well enough. Maybe not, obviously, it's not going to be as good as if you actually played it on the PS4, but it'll be well enough. Actually, who knows? Maybe some of the games will play better because we know the PS4 doesn't have great frame rates, but I doubt it. But anyway, this whole discussion about Scorpio not having games is laughable because this was the same argument a lot of Xbox guys said about PlayStation, you know, at the beginning of the generation. We said they didn't have exclusives, which they didn't, and how do you know PlayStation didn't have exclusives at the beginning of its launch? And for the simple fact that it had no exclusives at the beginning of its launch, yet it was cheaper. It was cheaper and a more powerful console, so it played multiplats at a better resolution. People gravitated towards the fucking PS4. I mean, yes, it wasn't just those two things. Yeah, people, you went to stores and people pushed PS4 over Xbox because you got a lot of PlayStation advocates in certain places. And I know I've had arguments with people about, well, PlayStation's been around longer, even though it's been a generation longer. It's been long enough for it to have a decent gap over its fan base versus Microsoft. Shit, you can just look at YouTube in itself. Go to Xbox's YouTube page and then go to PlayStation's YouTube page. You'll see that Xbox has almost 2 million subscribers, yet PS4 has over 5 million PlayStation subscribers. And with that being said, you could assume that those people are hardcores for the Xbox and hardcores for the PlayStation. And with that being said, you know, you have basically a sizable edge. The PlayStation does. I mean, people that are PlayStation YouTube, subscribers are probably from all over. It's not just the States or the UK. It's probably a whole bunch of places. So, they have a broader fan base. And I I don't think anybody can really debate that. They've just been around longer. Some people have never owned anything other than a PlayStation. Never had to, you know. Even though the PS3 wasn't great, it was still there, you know. It just was. I mean, even though it might not have had all the great games day one and it might have had its issues, it still remains that the console was available. It wasn't missing games. They might not have played well, or it might not have had all the, well, maybe it didn't have Skyrim. But, look, it had what it had, and for the most part, it had everything else. And But right now we're looking at, the changing of the guards as far as which console is the most dominant. Currently the PlayStation 4 still has that crown, um, but it's getting really tight. A lot of people getting butt hurt because they know the Pro is struggling. It's struggling to do a lot of the things that people wanted to do. Yes, it's better than the PS4, but they know when the Scorpio comes, it's going to be a problem. You know, I've been hearing it for a lot. A lot of the PlayStation guys are, you know, they're not project. I mean, they're projecting their feelings onto what they hope that the Scorpio does. That's basically what they do. They want it to be like the Pro, so they don't feel like they're getting a second tier console in the Pro, even if they don't even have the Pro yet. PlayStation guys tend to buy PlayStation. That's what they're going to do, but they don't want to buy a PS4 Pro knowing that it's going to be drastically weaker than the Xbox One. Yes, they might still buy it, but they're going to be butthurt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, and that's just what it is. It's going to be one thing to, you know, like PlayStation had the edge on like how well the game looked, right? Yeah, the online's not as good as Xbox. Yes, we know. All right. But the one thing it had in its corner is like, all right, well, if it's a single player game, you could play here and it'll look better than over there. Whether or not frame rate and all that shit, like, look, if you play on a console that has frame rate issues, but everybody else you play with has frame rate issues, nobody knows that the frame rate issues are that bad unless you play with somebody who has both or somebody who owns an Xbox. That the frame rates are better. And that's not in all cases. It's just in that way in most cases. But at the same time, it's just like, even with that being said, frame rate, as much as people, were like, are saying today, frame rate is key. Xbox gamers have been saying that shit for a long time. They've been saying frame rate is key. They've been saying online is key, but people still went out and bought the PS4 because it was known as the stronger console. Xbox could have definitely tried to push 1080p, but doing so would have caused it to lose, in both aspects, right? So Xbox agenda was like, all right, we're not going to beat PS4 in resolution, but they're focusing on 1080p. So what we got to do is we just got to make sure the game runs the best it can. We're not going to win that resolution talk. So that's why you always saw Xbox with maybe a 720p or a 900p game in comparison to the 1080p game that PS4 had. But the frame rate was always better on the Xbox because they pushed for the frame rate to be better. If you can't win one, you got to win the other, you know. And Sony, they noticed that people didn't care enough, I should say, for the frame rate. Maybe that's not in all cases. I mean, obviously, some devs took it upon themselves to be like, all right, look, we can't give you 1080p, but we'll give you a slightly higher resolution than Xbox. So when Xbox is at 720p, the PS4 is at 900p. And yeah, your frame rate's still not going to be as good as the Xbox version, but it'll be well enough. You know, it might not be 60, but it'll be 45. Shit like that. So, you had a lot of that this generation. And for the first 2 years of place, it didn't really have many exclusives. I mean, you had Infamous that was like here and gone. You had Last of Us, but Last of Us was great for people that had it that only had Xbox and then were playing it for the first time on PS4. And that was and they touted that shit for a long time, and that came out the summer after the PS4 launched. But when the PS4 launched, I remember plain as day, people were hyping up the best exclusive on the PlayStation was fucking Resogun. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, like IGN, GameSpot, they be like, oh man, fucking Rise, it's whatever, it's a QTE fest, Dead Rising 3, oh, it has frame rate issues. Forza Horizon, well, it doesn't have as many cars as Forza Horizon. I mean, not Forza Horizon. Forza 5 doesn't have as many cars as Forza 4. They harped on a lot of shit on Xbox, but then they didn't talk about Killzone because they would show Killzone and be like, "Look how amazing this looks. Look how amazing this is." But they would never talk about how fun it was. They never would. And then they would just kind of throw that shit in and just show gameplay. Oh, look at these. These are like Pixar graphics. That's what they would say. Pixar graphics. But they ever talk about how fun it is? No. They want to talk about how fun it is. But they would talk about Resogun. Man, look at all these particle effects. You couldn't do this on a PS3. No, you can't. This is on this PS4 power. Fucking Resogun. It's just insane, man. That would have been like back in the 360 era. Like people talk about like PlayStation to have whatever game out, and the media would shit on that and be like, you know what? Man, you got to get fucking Xbox 360s for Geometry Wars. You got to get that shit for Like, what the fuck? This shit is crazy, man. But this shit went on for all the way up until pretty much Bloodborne. Once Bloodborne came out year 2, that became everybody just talked about Bloodborne. Let me talk about Bloodborne. Bloodborne's amazing. Oh my god, it's Bloodborne. Nothing's better than Bloodborne. And they play that. I mean, shit. Listen, man. These motherfuckers played Bloodborne because there was nothing else for them to play. And they played that shit. The fucking media pushed that shit. They fucking be like, oh, this is how you beat that boss. This is how you beat this boss. How many hours could you finished it already? Let's see if you can finish it faster. It's just like, man, you were milking the fuck out of this game. They talked about that game. And so even after fucking Halo came out, Halo 5 came out, they still were talking about Bloodborne. The only reason they fucking stopped was when Uncharted came out and they had a higher Metacritic score. So then people were like, oh my God, Uncharted is the most amazing game ever. You got to understand, when I watched it, I felt shit. I got a heavenly glow. No, fuck Tomb Raider. Who the fuck wants to play a game with gameplay? Bitch, what about the story? What about the graphics? I ain't gonna lie, Uncharted is a pretty fucking game. And the story is, obviously it's Sony, they movie company, whatever, they have good writers. But to act like that game is a great game is beyond me. It's 10 hours. It's fun for what it is. That multiplayer is dog shit. And after you play it, all right, let's say you get 2 strong playthroughs of that game. So, and let's say that both times take you 10 hours, right? After that, what the fuck else you doing with that shit? You're not going to play it as much as you play Halo. You're not going to be playing it. You're not even going to play it as much as you play fucking Tomb Raider. Because at least Tomb Raider has the expedition mode. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to each his own. I get it. But I don't know. It's that double standard. And the funny thing about Xbox, a lot of times people try to bring up what games failed or didn't do well on Xbox. If you notice, the games that don't do well on Xbox are the games that kind of fall outside of what Xbox's mold is. And their mold is around multiplayer. And look at all the games that don't do well. They don't have strong multiplayer. Right? Sunset Overdrive, great game, had a decent co-op, but it didn't have a real strong multiplayer. Like the co-op was okay, but it wasn't in game, so you couldn't play the whole game in co-op, and you didn't really have competitive multiplayer, so it's not gonna fare that well. Look at Dead Rising 3. Dead Rising 3, even though it didn't I mean, it's a launch game. It did as well as a launch game, I guess, would do. What did it do? Like 3 mil or some shit like that. But it had co-op, so you could go through the whole game and play the game, with your buddies and whatnot. Quantum Break, no fucking co-op, no fucking multiplayer, and you saw how that shit went. And it's because gamers on Xbox have expectations for games. As much as people that play a variety of games to say, well, Xbox needs more single player games. It can't just have single player. Like those Xbox's single player games have to also have a strong multiplayer because people have expectations for like it's like, yo, I'm buying online. I want to play with my friends. If it's an Xbox exclusive, I want fucking multiplayer. And as much as people might not like to hear that shit, and people be like, well, I like to just play by myself and I don't give a fuck about multiplayer. Well, guess what, bitch? That's you. But a lot of people buy games on Xbox specifically to play with their friends. PlayStation is known as the isolation station. That's where you go and you play by yourself and you don't have to play with others. You don't get notifications your friends are online. You don't have to do none of that shit. You could get in there, you can play, and you can get the fuck off. You don't have to worry about people just hitting you up. You don't have to worry about none of that shit. Xbox is more interactive. You get to see what who's online, what they're playing, who they're talking to. It's like you get to see all that shit on Xbox. It's a social, console. So it's different things that and different expectations that we have. So but like I said, the failures of Xbox, like it always comes down to the games that don't have multiplayer. Look at Record. Now, Record wasn't the best game ever, but I bet you if it had multiplayer, it would have sold a lot better. Because games on Xbox that have multiplayer just sell better. They sell more over time, even if they don't sell a lot initially, right? Look at fucking Forza Horizon. Look at all the Forza games. Forza Horizon might have been the first Forza game in a while that hit the top 10 in MPDs, right? But yet that game sells well over time. One, people who buy the games buy a lot of the fucking DLC. You just get invested in that fucking franchise. Shit, Forza Horizon, no, not Forza Horizon. Forza 5 still is like 40, I think it's $40 on online. Like, this shit's crazy, man. That game came out, it's a launch fucking game. And it's still $40 bucks. That shit's nuts. But you get DLC and all that shit, man. It's Forza's big time, just like Halo. Shit, just like Halo Master Chief Collection. Still is up there, Halo right now is Halo 5 is like 40. I think Master Chief Collection it might be still 40. But you got like 4 or 5 games with I know I have like 5 games with it. I'm trying to remember because they did a whole lot of makeup games. It's like, all right, the shit wasn't working the first online wasn't working the first 3 months or whatever. So it's like here we give you Halo Reach. Was it Halo Reach? Yeah, I think they gave us Halo Reach and they gave you Halo ODST. But even with that, people are still playing that shit. Top played. Halo was in the top. I was looking at the other day. Halo Master Chief was like in the top 50. So people are still playing that shit. Like I'm just saying, like, look at what Xbox does well. It's multiplayer. I know that people talk about, oh, let's focus on doing more single player games, but you can't put it just a single player game on Xbox like that anymore. You have to put a multiplayer. I think in general you have to. That's what keeps people from just renting games and not buying them is the multiplayer. Yeah, you could beat a game in a week, rent it off of Redbox or whatever the fuck, and you might not even think about playing that game again. But if it has a multiplayer, That's where people find the use in spending the money. Shit, Overwatch only has a multiplayer, and people played the shit out of that. Even Titanfall, the first one, had only multiplayer, and people played the shit out of that. You know, it's because they, even with Titanfall one's flaws, it was a great game. It played well. Yes, it was very limited in the shit that it provided as far as longevity. But even with that being said, it still was a hell of a lot of fun to play versus its, you know, Titanfall 2 that just came out, that they focused more on the single player, and they did some things for the multiplayer, but it's just like the changes they made just weren't, you know, what the major fan base really wanted. I don't know who the fuck they were talking to, but they steered their asses wrong as fuck. But it's like this, man. It's like you know, Scorpio's gonna have all the games that Xbox has. It's just gonna look better. I mean, that's all it is. That's all you really need. You know, I mean, to be honest, why do people fucking buy PCs? Huh? Oh, so their games look better? I mean, those that buy rigs and shit. I'm not talking about people that just fucking using it for Excel and doing email. I'm talking about people that are actually sitting there buying rigs to play games on the rig, you know, whether or not they upgrade the fucking PC itself in its entirety, or they just use an upgrade for, you know, memory and cards and whatever the fuck. You know, they do all that shit so their games look and run better. You know, that's all the Scorpio is. So this idea that Scorpio has to have exclusives is some old shit that people need to really get the fuck out their head. You know, I hear all the time people saying, well, you know, PlayStation is wonderful because they have exclusives. You sound like an idiot. Because to me, it sounds like you're praising Sony for forcing you to have to play on PlayStation. That's what it sounds to me. It's like, that's wonderful because I only can play games on PlayStation. So, you know, therefore, I praise Sony because they only allow me to play games on PlayStation until PlayStation Now. But that doesn't matter because that's fucking streaming and that's bullshit. You know, to me, it's the same thing. You know, I mean, yes, the best place to play a PlayStation game as of right now would be on a PlayStation. Um, but to act like PlayStation and Microsoft approach gaming the same way is beyond me. One, PlayStation doesn't have the same tools. They don't do the same methods. You know, they don't have a UWP where you have one game you build, it go, you know, you put it, build one game, it goes on whatever platform, and it runs the best that platform can run it. PlayStation doesn't do that. They don't have, you know, that ability to do that. So it's not like you're not looking at the same scenario. Like people, it was funny because I was talking to this guy. He was trying to tell me that, well, Scorpio games won't look as good on Scorpio because, you know, it still has to make games for the fucking for the Xbox One. And I'm sitting there like, really? Is that how that works? So answer me this. So do games on PC not look good because some motherfuckers still trying to play fucking you know, some game that's on his old ass rig at home that barely does 720p? You know, no, whoever has whatever computer you have that's powerful enough to run what the fuck you're trying to run it, it's going to look, you know, the way it should on that particular hardware. You know, you're not gonna, it's not like you're gonna get on your fucking PC and be like, oh man, this shit looks like dog shit because they gotta, you know, run this shit at whatever. Like, no, unless you got some shit that's like from the fucking future. You got some super OP shit. All right, maybe. But what percentile of PC gamers have that? What, maybe 1% of people on PC got like a fucking $10,000 rig that can fucking play games that can melt your brain in half? Like, let's be honest, that shit ain't happening. So like, to sit here and act like games on Xbox One is gonna hold that back games on fucking Scorpio is beyond stupid. Shit, we just got a fucking UWP game, which is fucking Fallout Shelter. No effort. They didn't even make the fucking game for the Xbox One. They didn't even make it for it. They just made it in UWP. Once it goes to UWP, it goes fucking everywhere that Microsoft has games. It just goes into the App Store. So Xbox just got it. They didn't announce it. It wasn't like some fucking big rollout. It just happened that they finished the game, UWP, they provided it for Windows services, and then it went everywhere that Windows was available. That's it. And that's how all games will run, you know? It'll run the way it runs on my tablet is going to be different than my PC. It's going to be different than my cell phone. It's going to be different than my fucking Xbox, but the experience is the same. What they have to, I mean, because UWP does it all. They don't have to code for each different fucking platform. UWP does that shit. They just make their game and then they just fucking load it up. That's it. So I just feel I just find that argument to be a bit outdated. Very, very backwards thinking. I mean, look, man, let's push forward. All right. Let's stop living in the past of thinking that exclusives have to be on this one. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, as long as, like, look, man, if it says Windows on it, Microsoft's going to make money off of it. It is what it is. Shit. What you need to be worried about, especially PlayStation guys, is PlayStation Now coming to fucking Xbox. Because remember, that shit is for Windows PCs and fucking PlayStation 4 currently. Who's to say we can't get that app? Who's to say we can't? I'm just saying, we got a lot of other apps on fucking the Xbox that we probably shouldn't have, but we do. This fucking Nintendo apps, whole bunch of other apps. I'm just saying, And that should have probably run better because it's on the Xbox. So it's going to run better than it even does on your fucking PlayStation, which is crazy. Imagine that. Motherfucking PlayStation Now runs better on fucking Xbox than it does on fucking PlayStation. How fucking hilarious. It just, like, this shit is crazy. But it can happen, And then what will you do? Are you going to sit there and listen to Xbox gamers say, man, fuck PlayStation. I don't even need that shit no more. I got PlayStation Now on my fucking Xbox. It got all the games. It probably won't have games day and day. It'll be like on demand for fucking video games. It'll be like the game dropped on PlayStation, and then like 3 to 5 months later, it's on PlayStation Now or some shit like that. But it should be like, it'll be the same shit, man. That should be crazy though, because everything will be better on Xbox though. No, the Scorpio is gonna fucking dominate multiplats. It is. You might not want to hear that shit, but it is. You trying to hold people back from getting it because you're like, look, man, you're my online buddy. Who the fuck am I gonna play with if you go to fucking Scorpio? Bitch, just get an Xbox. No, I don't want to get an Xbox. I don't like their fucking nothing. I don't like shit Xbox. I think I'll get Xbox disease. I'll become an X-fag. You know how no PlayStation guys do. They get all crazy. I don't want to. Oh, man, that's just too funny, though. That's just too funny. But, I mean, look, man. The Scorpio have a whole bunch of games. I think it will set the world on fire to an extent. I don't think it's going to go crazy. I don't think people are going to be freaking running through the stores with Scorpios in their hands. I mean, if that shit happens, I'll be shocked. I'll be completely shocked. I mean, I think people will buy it, and I think that people will buy a lot more of it than they bought the Pro. But I don't think that it's going to outsell like the X. I mean, because the fucking, that the Xbox One S and the PS4 Slim are going to get price drops. So I'm saying, like, those games are still consoles are still going to sell probably the most I mean, it just makes more sense to me. But the hype about Scorpio, that'll be big. Um, the hate about Scorpio, that'll be big too. People were going to hate. I don't, if Scorpio does everything, um, like it's gonna do 4K. It does better frame rates. It does uh noticeably better graphics than the Pro. Um, I'm just trying to think of like how are they going to spin this? Like, what are they going to do to try to, you know, basically kind of subside the hype and the excitement for that console if it's doing all this crazy shit, you know? And then you got Sea of Thieves and Crackdown, and as far as of right now, those games are still kind of unknown. We really haven't seen, especially Crackdown. We know what it does, but we don't know much about it other than it. It's all about blowing shit up. But if those games come out and they're super popular, like the thing about Crackdown is it might have a Halo like effect. But am I sure? I don't know. But it could be, because I remember when Halo dropped, I had no idea about the game, right? But the thing about the game wasn't like people think, oh, well, it was AAA and it had a great story. And yeah, it had all that stuff. But the thing that really was impressive about the original Halo wasn't the fact that it was, of its cinematics. It wasn't the fact that it had, AAA music and all that shit. You know what was hype that had Halo really hype is its fucking gameplay, man. It was the first time we played a game that ever played like that. Like it's the first time. Like it's the first time I jumped you just jump in the game and it's just wide open. It's pretty much like the first real open world game we played on that level with a first person shooter. Because before that it was GoldenEye and fucking what was that other game? Perfect Dark. And everything was like inside. You're shooting people, but you're always inside. This is the first time you really go outside. You're like, oh shit. Just looking around like this shit is crazy. And if Crackdown and Sea of Thieves do any of that, that shit'll be big. Both of them have potential. So we'll see. We'll see. But this idea that Xbox has no games is ridiculous. Especially because let's be honest. I don't really give a fuck what Sony brings out. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's not like it'll be like the best Sony can do is bring out a game that is super graphical, and has a good story. I mean, other than that, it's just like, they're not changing the game. They're not going to be bringing nothing new to it. Then I mean, there's nothing like God of War is going to be dope graphically. I have no doubt about that. Its story probably will be good as well, but as far as gameplay, there's nothing I can see in God of War that I'd be like, man, we never did this shit before. As far as its real gameplay mechanics, I mean, even at its best, what are they going to make it an RPG? You upgrade your weapons and shit, like what are they going to do? Like, it's not going to be true open world. I doubt if it is. I mean, I guess it could be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I don't see the PS4, the original PS4, being strong enough to handle a game that graphical, open world shit. It could barely deal with fucking Horizon Zero Dawn. So how the fuck is it gonna deal with fucking God of War? Shit. The PS4 Pro could barely deal with fucking Neo. playing games at 720p 60. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. But from what I'm seeing, I just see a lot of the same shit from Sony. I haven't seen, I mean, Spider-Man looks good. But Spider-Man never really looked bad. I think the issues with Spider-Man were always it never had good side missions. Like the main missions were cool, but those side missions were garbage in Spider-Man. They always were. It was always like fucking rescue some old lady, fucking stop this bank robber, fucking help a cat out of a tree. Oh, there's some commotion in the subway. Go check it out. Like it's just always the same shit. You know, the story never like if they had some Witcher level shit, you know, where all the side missions have deeper levels to them, and it's like, all right, like Witcher had its formula was this: put you on a side mission, and it's like, all right, first you got to do you got to speak to such and such, and then you got to do recon. So basically, you're going out there figuring out, you know, go to this place and look for clues, go to that place and look for clues. Now, you know, it kind of branches out and varies depending on what quest you go on. But for the most part, that's what you have to do. You know, you go talk to whoever, you got to look for clues. Then you know, you might have to go track down this thing. You have an encounter, you lose them. Then you have to do some other shit in order to go and try to track them down and fight them. And then you make your decisions based on that, right? So I guess if Spider-Man could delve and go in that direction a little bit more, it would be more appealing. But we'll see. But at this point, man, I didn't play so many Spider-Man games. I don't know if I'm really amped to play another one, even if it's like super graphical. Because to be honest, when Spider-Man 2 came out, that was the best shit I've ever seen. And as good as it looked, you know, for its time, and you got to keep that in perspective. You know, there's a lot of games that looked amazing. Shit, Halo 1 looked amazing when it first came out. It was like the best looking game I've ever saw. But obviously now that game don't look like shit. But back then, it was fucking amazing. You know, there's a lot of games that look like that. So it's like, you know, yeah, Spider-Man will look dope now, but like 2 years from then, you know, after it drops, is it going to still be lighting the world on fire? I don't know about that. Just saying. And is it going to be appealing enough for you, keep you to really play that shit? You know, it's like, you know, I played Spider-Man. You know, I don't know. But it is a different developer. So, you know, Insomniac, they are really good at what they do. So, hey, they might have something. I mean, they might make something worthwhile. Still, if it's single player, it's not gonna last long. People are gonna fucking rent it and then beat it and then play something else. It's just, it is what it is, man. Because everybody knows after you beat a Spider-Man game, all you do is fucking swing around the place. You pop that bitch in and you swing around for like 15 minutes and then you take it out and play something else. You know, that's basically how it goes after you beat a Spider-Man game. So let me get into the last topic, and I had a couple of conversations about this, about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I believe it's gonna flop. And people tend not to agree with me. They think this game is going to set the world on fire, and I just don't see it. And maybe it's just because I just don't like the concept of the game. But I'm looking at the commercials and I'm like, it's not that impressive to me. I mean, if I'm a person that's like slightly interested in video games, I'm not going to look at Horizon Zero Dawn and be like, I need to get a PlayStation to play this game. I just don't see that happening. Maybe somebody who already has a PlayStation might think that way. But as far as like, I mean, shit, you have, think about this. You have fucking Horizon Zero Dawn come out, and then what? Maybe less than a month later, you have fucking Mass Effect come out. Like, yeah, you might play that shit for that time. I mean, yeah, some people don't like Mass Effects, or they, I don't know. I don't know why you fucking wouldn't. That game is fucking amazing. But let's just say you don't like Mass Effect. I'm not giving two shits about Horizon over fucking Mass Effect. I'm not. I just like, yo, the fucking level of monsters and shit in Mass Effect is going to be insane. Like, why the fuck? Like, you're going to just be fighting robots, man. That shit is not interesting. Like, literally, this would have been awesome. Like, if somebody told me that they took the monsters from fucking Mass Effect and put those in Horizon Zero Dawn, then I'd be like, hold up, this shit might be the shit, yo. Because it's like, I don't, to me, it's just more interesting fighting organic enemies than fighting fucking robots. They just have more personality. It just is like, you could try to make a robot have personality, but for the most part, you know, it's just not going to have the same level of personality as something that looks organic. It just isn't, man. And I think that a lot of people will be turned off by it. One, I think the fucking character looks like a bootleg Laura Croft. You know, she doesn't look as badass as Laura Croft. Yeah, I don't know. She look like fucking. She looks like what I imagine Titanfall Princess to look like. Like, to be honest. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. She looks like probably like what Titanfall Princess looks like. I'm just being sad. I mean, minus the extra pounds. I mean, all right, yeah, she obviously she runs around and so she's not as chunky, but for the most part, yeah, she probably does look about the same. But I'm just saying, man, shit's crazy, yo. I just don't find, I just don't see the mass appeal for that game. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to do like Witcher numbers, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I give it a. I think it'll do 2 million easy. I think that's a given. Um, when will it get to 2 mil? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because obviously people aren't buying fucking all these other games that they're saying they're buying. They're talking about, oh well, we're buying fucking Gravity Rush. You got to get that. Nobody bought that shit. Oh, you got to buy Last Guardian. Oh, it's a 10-year game. It's amazing. Nobody bought that shit. Oh, you got to buy Neo. Buying Neo. Everybody needs Neo. Barely anybody bought that shit. You know, yeah, it did better than the others, but it still ain't doing. I mean, granted, the thing about Neo is Neo's probably doing what it's supposed to do. Like, you know what? I would even say Neo's doing better than what it's supposed to do. You know, it's just that the media push behind it is, and the hype from its, you know, PlayStation fans have just made that game, you know, people were just putting so much hype behind the game, yet it's not really getting the same level of purchases as the hype is being generated. That's the thing about Neo. Like, people are hyping this game up like it's fucking God of War or some shit like that. They're like, oh man, you gotta get Neo. Oh my god, it's amazing. Oh Neo, oh Neo. I'm just like, all right. It's okay. I mean, it looks okay, you know, but it doesn't look amazing. It looks okay. I mean, shit, I think fucking Ninja Gaiden looks better. I mean, it to me, it looked like it's a better looking game than that. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like Souls games anyway. So it's just like a knockoff Souls game is like, eh. It's like, oh yeah, one of those. Awesome. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna do as well as people think, man. So I think it's gonna flop. I think the hype has been heavier around Horizon Zero Dawn for a while. And I just don't see, outside of fanboys talking hot shit about it, I don't really see anybody else talking hot shit about it. I mean, I guess we'll see when the numbers come out and, you know, PlayStation's like, oh, Horizon's the best. I guess it'll be the best selling. I mean, thoughts are that it should be the best selling fucking first party IP of this generation. as far as new IP. But to be honest, uh I think the order would have been what would have really set PlayStation up nicely if it was actually a good game. It's just it was short and it didn't have multiplayer. And you know what? Like I said, man, that was the same trend for Xbox. You know what? It might very well be the same trend for uh PS4. Because even if you look at Uncharted sold well. It sold like 3 mil. And then obviously they bundled it with all the PlayStation Slim, so it sold an additional, 5 and got to 8 mil. But even with that being said, I still look at the initial 3 mil, and that's still pretty good. And I think it's partially because it had multiplayer. People deemed it worthy enough to buy because it had multiplayer. You know, I think it was Infamous sell like 2.5 mil or something, 2.7. Maybe close to 3. Um, and that came at a point where there was really nothing else to play. I mean, shit, motherfuckers ain't have shit to play on PlayStation for like 4 months almost. So, they was thirsty when that game came out. And then a lot of the other games didn't have multiplayer. I mean, unless you're playing multiplayer. So I think that's the key. I think exclusives from now on need to have some form of multiplayer. They gotta have multiplayer or they gotta have co-op. One of the two. You gotta have one of the two. Can't just have fucking a single player experience. Those days are fucking are dying off. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, let me think of the last single player exclusive that could really even Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a great game, but that game is single player and it sold like 3 mil between like 3 platforms. I mean, granted, we don't know what the digital sales are, and I and probably many others have also bought it digitally. So, especially on the Xbox side, because you have the incentive to do so with the Play Anywhere. So let's say that game sold 5 mil in total. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think. Did they say they might have said it sold 3 mil in total? Not separating physical and digital sales. So you know what? Hey, let's put it this way. Let's say they sold about 4 at this point. It's still been fairly high on the MPD tracker. So, it would have sold better if it was a multiplayer experience. I mean, granted, it's fucking Resident Evil, so I don't know how the fuck you make that a multiplayer. But I'm just saying, if it was, it might have sold better because people tend to buy games that are multiplayer. So I don't know, man. My thoughts on Horizon Zero Dawn is it's going to flop, it's because one, I don't think the interest is there, and two, as far as I know, it doesn't have a multiplayer, so people aren't gonna buy it like that. They're gonna rent the fuck out of it. Oh yeah, they're gonna rent the fuck out of Horizon Zero Dawn, but because that game doesn't have a multiplayer, I just think people aren't gonna buy. I mean, you might be lucky if that shit hits 3 mil at the end of the holidays. The only way I can see it getting higher than 3 mil at the end of the holidays is if PlayStation decides to bundle it with everything, all the slims like they did the Uncharted one. So they'll be like, oh, at the end of the holidays, Horizon Zero Dawn sold 5 million. Yay! Oh shit, look at you, Xbox fags. That bitch sold. See, 5 million. You be like, bitch, sold that shit with all these fucking bundles out. like that shit ain't sell like that on its own, man. Fuck out of here. Be like, yeah, well, you just salty because it's sold like that. I'm like, bitch. Even when Halo came out, it wasn't the only fucking bundle. It was fucking Halo. It was fucking Forza. It was fucking what else? Fucking Tomb Raider. There's a whole bunch of shit that came out, man. It fucking even had a fucking Fallout bundle. It was like, man, fucking bundles. Like these motherfuckers come out here, well, Uncharted bundle. And what was up there? It had a Destiny bundle. Bitch, that's an old ass bundle. So yeah, Call of Duty bundle. Like motherfucking 3 bundles. Xbox had like 7. Like, come on, man. Fuck out of here. Like shit. Xbox had like 4 or 5 bundles just for fucking Battlefield alone. They had like fucking 3 different consoles. And then they had like different then they had the white one with the regular Battlefield, and then a white one with fucking Battlefield, and I think it was the premium pack or whatever the fuck. Man, that shit crazy, man. These motherfuckers be delusional. Uncharted sold a lot, bitch. That shit got bundled with anything. Everybody knows they said they sold 6 million fucking PS4s over the holidays, and it's just a coincidence that in that same time span, fucking Uncharted sold 8 million in total over. I mean, up to that point, like, come on, man. Can we stop being just fucking ridiculous? Like, come on, man. Look at the numbers. You already know what the bundles are for the holidays. It's fucking Uncharted. It was everywhere. It was fucking everywhere. The only people that didn't buy the fucking Uncharted bundle are the motherfuckers that bought the Pro that came with no fucking game. And we know that bitch ain't sell like that. Everybody got a fucking Slim. It is what it is. But I digress. But anyway, actually, let me get into all right, my shit's up. Okay, so I wanted to address some things I was talking about. And wait, which one is this? This one. So let's get into that. Bam. All right, so here we go. Oh, you got Shatterstar. We had an interesting conversation, and I just wanted to look at what the fuck I said. All right, I did that. 2 and rode the Xbox bus for 4 decades. But my point is, you always return to greatness. And now I'm back on PlayStation. Oh, that's fucking wonderful. Exclusives going to PC. And the whole play anywhere bullshit never really set right with me. I was like Microsoft giving me the middle finger. Now, see, this is the dumb shit I'm talking about. Like the fact that you could play your games anywhere, that's a bad idea. Like, obviously, this guy, he has some kind of issues. I don't understand why. I mean, what does it fucking matter? I just don't understand why. I mean, that's how you know you're way too deep with this fanboy shit. You just gone over the deep end. Fucking play anywhere didn't sit right with me. Bitch, I got a PC. I'm happy about this shit. I get to play Halo Wars when I'm at fucking work. This shit is awesome. I got my controller shit. I was playing Resident Evil the other day when I was fucking. Look, man, when I'm proctoring classes, I'm giving tests on Fridays, man. I don't have to fucking sit there and just stare at motherfuckers. Yeah, I can, but I don't have to. Most of this stuff is self-sufficient. Nobody has the same test, so they can't even cheat no more. So it's just like I'm just there to fucking. They got asked a question, just answer it. So when I'm just chilling there, pop on my piece, my laptop, fucking play some Resident Evil. But this week I'll be playing fucking Halo Wars 2 because that bitch drops tonight. So fucking play Halo. I mean, play anywhere is dope. Look, just because you can't do it or you don't want to do it, that doesn't mean that everybody else shouldn't have it. I mean, listen, man, that shit is dumb. I'm gonna just put it that way. It's just dumb. Like, if you hating on fucking play anywhere because you want it to be exclusive, you just fucking, you gotta do a self-evaluation because that's stupid. All right, let's move on to the rest of his comments. PC games get the best of what Microsoft has to offer and don't have to pay for Xbox Live, while we get inferior games and have to pay for Xbox Live. Now, one, you get what the fucking console can output. You know, like you're not gonna get fucking PC games on the Xbox One S because it can't fucking play it at the highest settings on PC. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This shit is the dumbest shit ever. It's like that's like me complaining about watching a fucking 4K. Like that'd be like, all right, I bought a 4K Blu-ray player and I bought a fucking 4K Blu-ray disc, but I got a fucking 1080p TV and I'm complaining that my shit don't look as good as a motherfucker with a 4K television. Bitch, I don't got a 4K TV. I don't really have the right to fucking complain because it's not like I bought a 4K TV and then now my shit only plays 1080p. You know, like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, if you want to play that shit better, just wait for the Xbox Scorpio to come out. Or fucking buy a PC, whichever one you prefer. You know, but fucking bitching about some shit and acting like Microsoft is doing you dirty. They're allowing you to play the game the best that the console can play. That's it. That is it. And the thing with Xbox Live is, look, man, we've been playing for Xbox Live, and you got to understand at the same time, fucking PC don't get everything. They don't get backwards compatibility. Oh, you didn't know that shit, huh? You didn't know they didn't get backwards compatibility? Oh, yeah, they don't. They don't get that shit. They don't get games with gold. All they do is get on free online. And it's because you can't make people that have access to playing games on Steam for free online. You can't make them fucking play or play games in general for free online. You can't make them pay on the Xbox app on PC. The shit just nobody will fucking use it. Nobody will fucking use it. You know, it's just like, come on, man. Like, use your fucking brain. That's the reason why they didn't want to fucking use the when they have Windows games. It's just like let's use our brains, people. Let's use our brains. All right, what's the next thing? Basically, we have to pay for. No, I already read that shit. I think that's supposed to be if. I'm pretty sure that's not of you. Don't see anything wrong with that. There's something wrong with you, buddy. No, it's if you don't see anything wrong with that. It's something wrong with you, Mr. Shatterstar 187. There's something wrong with you. On top of that, you got Hatchet Man Phil canceling games left and right and telling you it's best for you. Don't think, just obey him. Now that's just fucking stupid. One, people cancel games all the time. Number one, people cancel shit in general all the time. In entertainment business in general, shit gets canceled. A lot of times we don't even, fucking Halo movies have gotten canceled. Fucking TV shows get canceled all the time. Fucking movies get canceled all the time. Music albums, video games, whatever, shit gets canceled. You know why? Because if it's a fucking business, people aren't in the business of fucking losing money for artistic purposes. Like, let's keep. You want to keep it real? What's a fucking terrible fucking Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters should have been fucking canceled, but it wasn't. And look the fuck what it did to Sony. That stupid ass movie. The fucking writing was dumb. The fucking concept was stupid. They should have fucking canceled it. Went back to look. Ghostbusters, the movie would have been better if they just stayed within the same fucking world of Ghostbusters, and they could have just had, even with the whole female cast, that would have been fine. All they had to do was write everybody in as relatives of the past Ghostbusters. That's it. Bill Murray could have done this cameo, but to have it like it's some alternative universe, this shit was dumb. Nobody liked it. It didn't pay homage to the original. It was just a fucking waste of what it was. So no, just making games just to make them, and if their shit be damned, that's stupid as fuck. Like, why would you do that? Oh, well, at least you have something. You're not gonna fucking play it. It's gonna be garbage. I got fucking Ghostbusters on my fucking. Well, granted, I didn't buy it, but I have it in the fucking app, the Xbox app. Yeah, you don't know about that shit, but I got it in the Xbox app. You know how many times I tried to watch that shit? Not one goddamn time. But no, that's not true. I tried to watch it once, and the first 15 minutes is fucking horrible. But that's the thing, man. If it's not good, you're not gonna fucking play it. So what the fuck are you gonna bitch for? I mean, obviously Phil Spencer plays games. He knows what a good game is, and it's not just him. It's him and a bunch of other people. It's not like people think like, you know, Phil Spencer just comes up and is just like, oh, I saw that game. You know what? That's not my particular taste. So fuck that game. We're just gonna keep it moving. Like, no, it's him. It's his team. It's not just one person. You know, because he's the fucking head of Xbox. He can't literally play every fucking game that is coming to Xbox. He literally can't. It's just fucking impossible. He can't play every game. You know, he could sign off on shit that the rest of his team is like, look, I think it'll be good. Look at this, you know. And when you had Scalebound, I mean, look, Fable Legends wasn't working. What was the other game? I'm trying to remember it. Quantum Break, not Quantum Break. Fucking Phantom something. Phantom what the fuck was that name? It's Phantom something. Phantom Leap. I don't know. Whatever. The Phantom game. That shit wasn't working with the particular developer that they had. And the fucking Scalebound didn't work. I mean, Scalebound was an issue of they bit off more than what they can chew, and the fact that they kept on making promises that they couldn't keep. You know, so you're telling me that you're going to do something. I'm paying you the money, and you keep on pushing this product back. See, the thing is, people keep on thinking like, all right, well, if they pushed it back, and kept on just throwing money at it, eventually we'll get the game. But the question is, were we going to get the game that we wanted? That's the question. Like, if they pushed the game back and it was a 9, yes, it was worth it. You know, now the other half of it, that's for the gamer. If they pushed it back and the game was a 9, it would be worth it for us as gamers. For Microsoft, probably not so much, because it's in a niche market and they gotta hope that the fucking reviewers push the game, even though they give it a high review. It's one thing to give a game a high rating. It's another thing to mass push it like they do, like PlayStation games. Because look, man, they just don't do that for Xbox games. There's no guarantee on it. You know, I don't know how much money Phil feels he would have to pay people in order to do it. You know, it's like PlayStation doesn't have to do that shit. They just fucking push their games because a lot of people are just fucking PlayStation fans, you know? So it's just easier. It is what it is. You know, it's like free promotion. So, you know, the workaround is just a little bit harder. But, you know, this idea that we're losing games left to right, no. One, we still got Crackdown coming. We know that game's not getting canceled because for the simple fact that they got to use it to show off their fucking cloud compute and all that shit. So they're gonna figure it out whether or not that'll be the last Guardian. If they didn't figure it out, that'll basically be the game that they, you know, keep working on for like forever to make sure that cloud compute becomes a thing. You know, I mean, granted, yeah, they did it in fucking, I mean, some cloud physics and Screen Ride and they do a lot of cloud computing and fucking Forza and shit like that, but nothing on the scale of like Crackdown, and we know this. So, yeah, I mean, you know, bitching about fucking games being canceled, shit happens all the time, man. Shit happens all the time. Actually, to be honest, if PlayStation actually canceled some more of their games that were shit, they probably wouldn't be $1 billion in a fucking hole. I'm just saying, you know, and you can't be like, well, at least we got them. Nobody but fucking bought them. Nobody. Who the fuck bought Gravity Rush? Who? Who bought that shit? Oh, nobody. Nobody bought that shit. Oh man, probably should have canceled that bitch, right? Yeah, probably should have. All right. What's the next one? Also watching these brainwashing ex fanatics constantly praising this man for canceling games. All right, the same shit. On the other hand, I got Sony just giving you games exclusives by the truckload while Microsoft cancels games after game. Madness. I like what the fuck? Like we just got literally this fucking holiday. We got Recore, Forza, Gears of War, and fucking Dead Rising. And that was just the holiday. And then we also got Quantum Break. And then if you want to also look at the games that we get in fucking the preview program, we got Ark, we got We Happy Few, and we got fucking Everspace. So right there, that's fucking 8 games, man. Like, come on, man. The fuck you talking about? You just talking a whole lot of shit right now. Let's see, what else are you talking about? That hole just gets deeper and deeper for the Xbox brand, so deep that they are putting all their eggs in one basket on Scorpio. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Like the eggs in one basket. It's a fucking upgraded console. I mean, if that's the case, then what the fuck is the Pro? Like, come on, man. What the fuck? Like these guys just talk out their fucking ass. Like the Pro's doing the same shit. You're not saying that about the Pro. Nobody's even buying that bitch like that. Come on, man. Like they're talking hella dumb shit right now. All eggs in one basket. Like really? Xbox literally has fucking 2 platforms with fucking console and PC. You know? Like how's that all eggs in one basket? I'm just trying to understand that. You know? If or when it flops, you know you're drowning now. You might as well go down with the ship because the Titanic is underwater. Ha ha ha. All right. I don't know the fucking I don't know like flop how? Like how's it gonna flop? Like what is flopping to? Like is it gonna sell a million when it first launches? Is it gonna sell 2-3 million? Like what the fuck is flop? You don't even know the fucking numbers of what it's supposed to do. Like I don't know. Like these motherfuckers put these crazy expectations on it. You know what? This is what the PlayStation crowd's gonna do. They're gonna be like, well, if the Xbox Scorpio comes out and it doesn't do 20 million in the year, it's a flop. But like, what the fuck? Like the fucking 20 million a year? Like, what the fuck is you smoking? That's a lot of fucking consoles. Could we be a little bit more realistic? No. It has to do 20 mil because it got to get closer back to the PlayStation show. If it doesn't, it's a flop. It's a fucking flop. Like, oh man, these motherfuckers are retarded. It's too funny, man. But yeah, man, I don't know what to say. You know, you know what? Let's see what else bullshit is up here. I'm tired of reading his shit. What is this? I don't know. It's just him. God damn it. Oh, 100. What up? Actually, what the fuck, man? I just want to hit the smiley face. What up, 100? What up, King James? Put that shit on there. Hell yeah. Whatever. This guy, Jabril. Whatever, motherfucker. This guy. He be smoking that shit. Everybody knows fucking Ark sold like a mill on fucking Xbox dumb quick. These motherfuckers be on some other shit for real. But anyway, man, this is your boy live. Let me back on up out of here. And yeah, it was a good conversation. Oh damn, it's 4. Shit. All right. Well, my computer should be fully downloaded now. I'm gonna take my shit back over there and finish working on this fucking spreadsheet. But yeah, it was a fun conversation. Like I said, Horizon Zero Dawn, that shit gonna flop. And you can quote me on that shit. I'm just saying. It's not gonna do what people think it is. That shit is going to. I think those numbers are gonna be kind of low. I'm not saying it ain't gonna fucking cross a mil, obviously, but I don't think it's gonna do what people think it's gonna do, which is 5 mil, and they fucking wilding. But anyway, it's your boy Live Wire, and I'm out this bitch, baby. Peace.